UCLA comes in as a potential trendy option in the winter 2025 to flip guys, get transfers coming in if they have a successful season with Nico. And if Nico's successful, he can go to the NFL draft. He could leave for more money elsewhere, or he could stay at UCLA where he talked about family. And that's led to discounts coming into players who came to UCLA potentially this offseason and the next. So the question to you, Brian, is UCLA a potential as a trendy option for guys to change their mind or say, hey, I like what's going out there in Westwood and Pasadena. I want to join the Bruins after this upcoming year?
I'd like to answer that after the September 6th game at UNLV. There'll be 2 games in. They've got Utah game 1 in the Rose Bowl, and then they've got a game at UNLV the week after. If they start 2-0, I say yes to that. But I think a lot of people are going to want to see it on the field. And as we'll get into, UCLA's schedule is daunting, to be really honest. They've got Penn State coming to the Rose Bowl. They've got a game at Indiana. They got Nebraska. They got Ohio State on the road. They've got to find a way to be at least bowl eligible. And I know that like FanDuel has got them at 5.5, I think it was we were talking about. If they can get to a bowl, I think you will see them flip some people. If they don't, it's a little more iffy, but the schedule is quite difficult.
Do you think it's that much of a difference between, say, UCLA? People look at the schedule like they only went 6-6, but then there's a 9-win team out there. Do you think recruits and people are realizing that's a huge leap for UCLA, even though that's not the same amount of wins they had with the Chip Kellys? That how much importance to go 6-6 potentially with this schedule and a big win or two? Is that enough to flip just the 6-6 and get to the bowl without including the bowl win or not?
I think it is in certain circumstances. Every recruit is obviously a different animal to take on, but you need to see that things are trending in the right direction for you as a player, for your family. And I'm sure they're selling the vision. I mean, that's what I would do. And now you got a chance to prove it. Again, you got Ohio State, you got USC, you've got Penn State, you got Nebraska, there's Indiana. Pretty good schedule, to say the least. They could, I mean, if they surprise somebody, especially out of the list I just gave, like if they win at Indiana or something like that, you could turn that into flipping some kids. And before anybody asks which ones, I don't know, because it's very subjective. But they're probably going to be in contention for that. Foster and his staff, they did a good job with this class thus far. They probably have relationships with kids committed elsewhere that they're still harvesting. If you win on the field, it's going to help you change a few kids' mind. They're going to want to see it to make it happen, especially if they're committed to a program that's a consistent bowl winner or possibly a college football playoff team.
And then if Nico stays, right? I've been a little not sure if he would actually stay into the 2026 season. I'm not sure. You may have said it. I forget if you said it already on this podcast, if he'll stay for 2026 or not. Not that we know at all what Nico could do. That is like completely the furthest thing. Knowing what Nico will do from now until literally fall camp of next year, that could change many different times, considering the transfer portal is so wild and crazy. If he stays, a lot of discounts, guys might lower their offer, what they want to come to UCLA, they're willing to take, and then say, hey, if UCLA is just exciting, if they're an exciting 6-6, that would put them in the right direction, and that would help if Nico stays just 2 years at UCLA. That could just completely change the trajectory of the program and recruiting in the portal.
Having him back would be good from a media perspective, especially if he has a good year in Westwood. And then just having somebody that for transfer wide receivers, he's a known commodity and he's a big name in recruiting because he's a 5-star guy. So I agree. I have no idea if he's going to be really good or not, or if he's going to stay. We'll see. But I think he's pretty happy from the interview that I heard when he was at Big Ten Media Days. He's glad to be back in his greater Los Angeles area where he grew up. I think this is going to be a positive. And unless he just completely goes crazy at UCLA this year, I expect him back for the Bruins because I don't think he's put enough on tape yet to really warrant the opportunity to go in the first couple rounds. And I doubt he wants to be a 6th-round pick.
Although I did see that Arch Manning might still play at Texas in 26. So who's the top quarterback in the next class? I'm just maybe brain farting. Who are those top guys in next year's NFL draft that maybe he sneaks into that top 5.
That's a great point. Now, Arch's NIL deal is insane, by the way. So him staying doesn't shock me. And his family's rich. So it's more about fun for him. If they win the title, I could see him leaving. Otherwise, I expect him back. He likes being at Texas from everything I've heard. Nico could be that guy, but like this is not a good quarterback group. Lenora Sellers, maybe. Like DJ Lagway's not eligible for the draft. Who are the guys that are going to be? I don't know. So maybe Nico could, and that could work against UCLA. But again, he had a so-so year last year at Tennessee, didn't really play the year before at Tennessee that much. He needs to have a big year for the Bruins to really think about going high in the draft because people want to see it at that spot. Which
I think the only guy I can think of right now, it would be if Carson Beck's healthy, right? I think that would be.
Nussmeier would be another one, the kid from LSU, but like he threw a bunch of picks last year. He's just got a really good arm. So yeah, it's wild. I don't know who else you would put.
And maybe Manning changes his mind. It's like, all right, you're clear cut number 1. But would you rather be the best of a mediocre class or be back and more refined? And then next thing you know, you're much better. Even if you're like the 5th best option and you're more refined, that might serve you better in your NFL career and NFL draft process versus rushing it and rushing out.
That's been talked about forever. The opinion of scouts and the opinions of players are often very different, though. That's something that I've learned very much. But Nico's a pretty level-headed kid. I'd imagine he's going to listen to what people say, and if it doesn't match where he wants to be in the draft, he'll come back. But again, this needs to be a really good year, in my opinion. I'm not obviously speaking for Nico or anybody around him, for him to come out. I think he'll be back in 26, and I think that will help UCLA recruiting quite a bit.
The big thing when it comes to being a trendy, exciting school, right? You see Indiana, they go from pretty much never selling out, 2 sellouts almost in their history of football, to selling out almost the rest of their games in the 24 season, getting to the playoff. I believe they've sold out all their tickets. I could be wrong, but they're going to be exciting under Kurt Cignetti. For DeShaun Foster, is it more about the product, you think, to be exciting and trendy and Nico throwing it around? Or is it one game that's fun and then you start seeing the Rose Bowl packed, which I was reading the Knoxville News Sentinel, and anything out of Knoxville is still about Nico. Maybe some Blurgate news, although I think it was the tight end or whatever it was, the guy who threw the pick, we don't even know. But it's still there. There's going to be a lot of Tennessee eyes on UCLA, and they're still going to point to the fact that the Rose Bowl's empty. Is it more excitement in the stadium, or is it on the field that could probably sway some guys?
Boy, that's a great question, because part of it's just trendy with UCLA and recruiting and how they're doing it as a staff. Probably a little of both, but like they need a wow moment this season, in my opinion, not only for the 26 class, but for the 27 class as well, to get the attention. They got to beat some. I'm not saying they're going to beat Penn State or Ohio State, but obviously that would be the ideal scenario. Indiana, something like that. And then it's how you do it. Throwing the football, an exciting brand of football. Winning 13-10 is better than losing, but it's not real exciting. Scoring points, high-flying offense would be good for the Bruins.
And the thing about that Penn State game, that could be that it factor game early in the schedule where I think Penn State that's their first true road game. They're coming out west. It's early October. There's a chance that in Southern California, if it's a day game, that could be a really hot game in October in Pasadena. That could be, I'm not saying that, yes, UCLA is going to go win there, Brian, but that could be one of those games you circle on the calendar. If UCLA is 3-1, 2-2, or dare I say like 4-4, they can navigate that schedule. You go upset Penn State. Schools every year circle that huge upset moment, right? Diego Pavia changed all college football because he upset Alabama, arguably an overrated Alabama team, but because he beat Alabama, many college athletes have an extra year of playing just because they beat Alabama, if we think about it. Like, that's how impactful a win over Penn State is. And then that could be like firing James Franklin bad if they lose to UCLA at the Rose Bowl. That's how crazy it could be. Is it realistic that could happen, though?
I mean, after seeing Alabama lose to Vanderbilt, I'm not going to say that it cannot happen.
Or Notre Dame to Northern Illinois and still getting there. Ohio State losing at home to Michigan and still winning the championship. Like, it's...
That's why college football is great, though. Like, the pros are much more consistent. Like, if you talk to the sports books, you're going to bet, like, you got a better chance betting on pro sports is much, 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 much more consistent. College is random. They're kids that aren't pros. It's that simple. So I would not be shocked. And by then, maybe Drew Aller's banged up anyway. You don't know. Every single week is different. And that's why it's so much fun to follow it.